said you're wrong. Girl, you see, don't live here anymore.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Andy Keathley. Welcome back to the GuitarCast. It's been 3 years since the last episode of the GuitarCast, but we're back with all new episodes. And we're going to start with my good friend Greg Cahill, who, as we talk about, me and him go way back, playing music together for a long time. So please enjoy my conversation with guitarist and mandolinist Greg Cahill. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Here we are.
How do you do, everybody?
Greg, welcome to the GuitarCast. It's been 3 years since the last podcast, and I feel like you were pretty angry with me for not asking you to be on the podcast a couple years ago.
It wasn't so much anger as it was a deferred invitation. That better guests kept arriving at your doorstep, or you would find better guests, and I kept getting pushed down the line.
I was saving the best for the big comeback podcast
for
show
the reveal
3 years later.
Sweet.
So, when did we meet? How long ago was that?
Yeah, we've been talking about that kind of off and on with all the work we've been doing recently, but it's got to be pushing 10 years.
Close. It's probably close.
Yeah, I mean,
you know the story better than I do.
Yeah, well, it was a get down show at St. Rock, and I was playing with our buddy Tom. Pretty sure Tom was on that gig with this guy Justin Zuban and the Blue Label Boys, which was like a country act. And I was playing mandolin, pedal steel, and electric guitar on the same gig, which don't do that. That's a nightmare load in
You didn't
and load
get paid
out.
in triple?
Yeah, right. Yeah, it was terrible. But I had a mandolin, and you guys didn't. And as I was walking off stage, you said, "Hey, man, just sit in with us," because it was you and Connor, Evan, and Matt Brewer.
Uh-huh. Was Israel in the band at that point?
No, that was before all that. Yeah, that was before all of that. So yeah, Brewer just like called out the Nashville numbers, and I just chucked along the best I could. And when I didn't, I just still chucked. I mean, it was fun. It was a blast. I think it was my first bluegrass gig ever.
Yeah.
For sure, it was my first bluegrass gig ever. Actually, 100%. Yeah. But yeah, that was it. And then we just sort of stayed in touch. I think I came to Bigfoot and pestered you a couple times.
Right. You came to Bigfoot a lot, which was a residence gig that the Get Down Boys had for a long time. And a couple of years went by, and you reached out to me to be a bass player with the Jack of Hearts.
Yeah, well, we needed somebody who could sing. The guy at the time was really unwilling to sing lead, and we wanted to incorporate that, more of the band element, the Danko stuff in there. And I was like, I mean, the guy can play. You didn't even own it. I think you were borrowing my bass at the time.
I didn't own an amp or a bass or anything.
And so we made it work, and it was great. I mean, you stepped up, sang, and I don't think you were really playing much at the time at all, so it was perfect. Everybody won.
5 years later, I'm a bass player in several bands.
Yeah, right.
I haven't picked up a guitar in ages.
Yeah.
That's not entirely true. But.
Right. So, yeah, that's the nexus of that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people that we've known, in the interim, it just seems like the overlap keeps piling on top of itself.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the new operation that we have going called Wood and Steel, which is, how would you describe Wood and Steel? I know how I describe it, but.
Oh, that's a good question. Well, essentially, I mean, when people ask me about it, I say, well, my buddy started a booking agency, and we just book ourselves.
Yeah,
that's pretty much what it is, right?
That's more or less what it is.
It's a service agency, and we provide entertainment. The company, provides entertainment, and at least this calendar year, we book the bands, and we basically book ourselves and our friends or musicians that we know who are don't need a lot of work. There's rarely an opportunity to rehearse here, so I really would refer to it as a booking agency, and we just book ourselves.
Yeah, and it's been super busy. It's kind of two bands mainly, and then a couple of smaller ensemble gigs, but we have the Wooden Steel String Band, which is the bluegrass side of things.
Right. Which is where I started elbowing my way in last year when I saw you and Cassidy and Kingsley playing. I was like, I can do that.
That's right.
I can do that, like no problem. And so I just
got a new mandolin.
Yeah, well, that was way before that though, because that was November of last year when we did like a couple of those Simsies gigs when it was freezing cold out.
Yeah.
That was November of last year. So, it took a while for myself to catch up to the rest of you guys. And, but yeah, I mean, that was what sort of the in was. And then you called and wanted to do the thing with Kingsley and David, and I'd never met those guys, and that's when we shot that little thing, and then that took off pretty quick after that.
So that's
I think like 2 weeks later there was already a job. Yeah,
that's the Canyon Brothers Band, which is the more electric side of our kind of thing that we have, the Wooden Steel operation, and that's like, it's hard to put it into a genre, but we play a lot of classic country and some blues and some southern rock.
It's like a country review, though. I mean, in a way, right? We start with the classics, and then end the night with Garth Brooks. So I mean, it's kind of, anything in between, and it's some Charlie Daniels in there, and some Allman Brothers, and a little Dead every once in a while. And it's all the good stuff,
right?
But it's definitely all with that, like, very much a country feel. The pedal steel, I think, really, and especially when Johnny's playing the fiddle, really, cements the genre or the vibe that you're getting when you book the band.
What other bands have you played with?
Dude, that list is long. I mean, you started working right out of school. I don't know exactly if you were doing the band thing, really, but I mean, when I finished college, I joined like a funk jam band, jammy jam band.
As you do.
And learned a bunch from those guys. And then I went to music school after that, and then started like an R&B band, and then was in this thing, and then that thing, and then this thing, and that thing. So I've done too many to count, but before the pandemic thing, I spent 3 years with Davey, who you had on the podcast, right?
That's right.
Davey Allen and the band Davey and the Midnights, and that was in my opinion, that was a super band. That was 5 guys who all worked really well together, writing songs, touring, working on stuff, had tons and tons of fun, and unfortunately, the pandemic hit, and that sort of ended. Those guys all moved back, but I think, was it Tuesday night? No, it's Wednesday night, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So last night those guys played in Nashville at Acme Feed and Seed. I mean, they're out there touring. They're doing like a full Southern run, but it's a trio, and they're basing themselves out of Indianapolis. It's still Davey and Mike and Corey, but it's it's not the same as the 5-piece thing. It's obviously it's not based out of LA, so I'm not doing that anymore. And before that, I was with this band Illumination Road, which was kind of cool because the pandemic offered this unique opportunity for us to revisit some music that we had done. Well, they really this guy Chris and this other guy Chad had done. I think they probably started working on that project in 2010. I met up with those guys in 2013, I think, and that was our first gig under the name Illumination Road. And we hadn't done anything for years, 6 years, maybe 7 years. And Chad had this great place out in Pioneer Town, and we started meeting out there for a week or two at a time and rehashing these songs, kind of revisiting things, trying to, Chad had a really good term for it, unlock these songs, right? I mean, the songs were always really good. Chris wrote really fantastic songs, and then sometimes it just takes, more than one brain and the right space and the right time to really unlock the song and be like, that's the hook, that's the whatever, that's the riff, that's the vocal part, that's the thing. So we spent the last year on and off, probably 7 or 8 trips out to the desert, maybe more.
Yeah, it seemed like you were out there for most of the lockdown.
Yeah, it's strange. I actually feel like at a certain point I have more friends out in Yucca Valley and Pioneer Town than I do left in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Which is maybe not, super true, but it felt that way for a long time. Yeah, I mean,
LA was shut down pretty
Sure
hard
was.
for most of the time, and has just now been opening venues and stuff like that.
which we still haven't played indoor anywhere.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
We have not played anything indoors. It's all been outdoor private functions and stuff like that, which I'm perfectly fine with. For a number of reasons, but yeah, fine by me.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and what about Jack of Hearts? So that's Jack of Hearts, the Bob Dylan and the Band tribute that Greg pulled me into on bass, and I had to sit the last 2 gigs out. I was traveling.
Well, you had Jamie on the thing, and Tom, right? I think you had Tom.
Jamie and Tom have both been on. Yeah.
Oh, cool. So really, I'm just like,
I think that's why you were so mad.
I guess. Hey, look, you could say I'm batting cleanup. Jack of Hearts was quiet for a long time. I mean, I think again, we had some stuff on the calendar before the pandemic. Mm-hmm. Some things were postponed several times and then ultimately canceled. But yeah, we had these 2 gigs in the last couple of months. Were those both in August, maybe, or September? No, August. I think they're in August.
One here in, out in the valley, and one in New Mexico.
In New Mexico, in Lovington, New Mexico, which if you ever get a chance to go, really, really cute little town. Be prepared to entertain yourself, but a really cute little town, and some of the nicest folks I've ever met, for sure. I mean, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it sounded like a good time.
We haven't done much, I think Jamie's been pretty preoccupied with his career as an actor, which good for him. I mean, that's his. I mean, I know he loves music, and my hat's off to the guy for keeping a band together for 10 years, because that's how long that band's been going. I've been in it for 8, at least 8.
Yeah,
and when you think about
5, I think.
Yeah, so maybe I've been in it for longer than 8, and it's been going longer than 10. But I mean, if you think about it, that's a feat in itself to keep guys together for that long. So
no doubt, that is some advice that I got with my former band was like, just stick around, just remain a band, and you will experience success if you're just still existing, because a lot of bands have a good year or 2 years and then they fall apart for a lot of reasons.
Lots of reasons.
But yeah, it's tough. But it's nice that all those guys are still in town, still living in LA. And
sure. Well, I've even heard that comment just about being a musician, or I guess this would really like relate to like any creative. If you're an actor or you're an artist, a lot of times like last man standing will win the game. I mean, it just, if you can persevere. Yeah,
and being available.
If
you're available and you can.
Hey, that's my motto, man. Because there's a million. We talk about guitar, right? The GuitarCast, right? I mean, I play guitar, and I'm okay at it. But there are so many players, even in LA. But like, if you go across the country, in the bigger country music, Americana, I mean, there's these. It's. But my best ability has always been availability. It's done me right. Like I've gotten, pretty decent amount of work, considering, because, my car starts, my gear works, I show up prepared, I'm on time, I'm a good hang.
Yeah.
And, I don't clam all over the place. I'm not blowing anybody's mind. Nobody's going like, holy Moses, that guy, but it fits in the package. I mean, you have to learn how to, obviously, you still have to, if you're playing lead guitar, you still have to like wow some people. Otherwise,
Yeah, I've gotten pretty comfy over the years on rhythm guitar, and like now with the bluegrass band, I'll take breaks here and there. But it is nice when you don't have to be flashy and out front and center, and impressing the audience on that level. Maybe that's like a lazy thing to.
No, I think, but I mean, in the bluegrass band, your role is really frontman, lead singer.
Yeah, I guess I sing a lot in that band.
And then, we were talking about this last weekend on that gig, with that new guy we got, and I would say Andy's his rhythm guitar playing on the bluegrass stuff is very active. It's not just like passive. You're not just strumming G, C, and D. like you're, Pete Seeger up there. You're, moving. There's a lot of movement happening. There's a lot happening. There's a lot of nuance that I don't think people understand or even really respect about rhythm bluegrass guitar.
Yeah.
It's really driving in a lot of ways. Not the same way a banjo is like.
Yeah.
Not quite the same thing.
No, but yeah, the lead lines of a rhythm guitar, walking bass lines and walking lead lines, does add a lot to the sound of traditional bluegrass.
A huge difference. I mean, I'll say this too, like while we're on the topic, just having done this now, really we got kind of cooking in May, maybe April, May of this year.
Yeah.
And I mean, that was really the beginning of me cutting my teeth trying to play bluegrass in general. And I've subbed on some of these gigs on guitar when you could make them, and had to lead the band on and I've got more respect for how effortlessly you make those guitar parts come out to kind of keep the band driving, especially if you don't have a bass player.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's wild to think like so last year when we started the company, there was no bass player for the first like 15 gigs.
At least.
And which really is missing a lot, although most most clients don't really know or care. But I had the little stomp box, the little kick drum pedal, and
but even on some of the gigs with the bass player, you have that going every once in a while, and it just elevates that driving thing going. I mean, it just adds things to. But there's a lot of nuance I think people don't understand about that type of guitar playing. So I've learned so much in 6 months or whatever it's been, and I mean, I'm all in on the bluegrass thing now. I can't get enough.
Well, you got the expensive mandolins, so you got
half the battle, dude. I'll tell you, it really is though. Like that is one instrument that you do, and there's a few of them, right?
But what kind of mandolin is it?
Northfield. So it's a Northfield F5S, and I believe the S is for satin finish. But this thing is fantastic. It's got a little bit wider neck on it. It's got the wide nut version, and that helps my, already sort of crippling hands. They just don't move as fast and nimble as they used to. So having a bigger neck, a deeper neck, taller frets, a little bit of radius on that thing has really made my playing it's just that much easier to play, because the instrument I was learning on wasn't bad by any means. It was a really fantastic little mandolin, but this thing is so easy to play that it just allows me to take more risks, experiment a little bit more, and
makes a big difference.
It makes a huge difference. Plus, just in general, this, anybody that's listening that's a instrument enthusiast, if the instrument that you own does not inspire you to pick it up, then you're just not going to play.
Yeah.
You're just going to be less likely to want to dive in.
Yeah, I had a old bad fiddle and played it.
The one that we did the Folgers
that's
commercial.
Right. I can't believe I forgot about the Folgers. Yeah, so there's two different stories. But so I had an old fiddle and I played it every now and then, but it just sat around for years. I was certainly not going to take it out on a gig or even to a jam, really. And about a month ago, I inherited this old fiddle. It's like 1645, made in Austria, from my great-grandfather through my uncle.
I was there. It was the coolest thing ever.
As a wedding present. And I can't put the thing down, because I've got this great instrument. And
I know, dude. We had an afternoon off in San Diego, and I heard one fiddle tune for 3 hours.
That's how you got to do it. So the Folgers theme. Me and Greg, one of our big wins.
Claims to fame.
Yeah, I'm going to call it a big win. Is Greg came to me one day and said, "Hey, are you interested in submitting a song for the Folgers jingle writing contest?" And I said, "What?" And then I said, "Yeah, sure. Let's whatever that is."
Yeah. What else you got going? Yeah.
Whatever that is, let's do it. And so every year, Folgers has this big open contest where you can submit you write your own new spin on the Folgers jingle, the one everybody knows, and shoot a video along with it. And then they narrowed it down to 5 finalists who they flew out to Nashville, all 5 finalists, to spend like a day in the studio with Chris Young.
Oh, yeah.
The country star, Chris Young.
Yep.
And it was like, and they put us up and they had dinner and everything for it. It was great.
It was a great experience.
It was a great trip. We were one of the 5. We won the top 5 at least.
Yeah.
And we were one of the 5 finalists of the Folgers Jingle Writing Contest in 17, 18.
Yeah.
It was a few years ago.
Yeah.
And
like 2017 sounds right.
It was put to a vote. It was a big national online vote for like 30 days.
Dude, my dad campaigned so hard.
I know. A lot of people.
He Facebook campaigned harder than any politician for anything.
We had a lot of support, and our video was good. I really thought our video was really good.
AJ did a fantastic job.
AJ Shortman shot this video for us, and it was really good. But we didn't win the top prize.
We didn't win. We got robbed. I think we got robbed.
We didn't win a top prize, but it was a fun trip. And,
but good segue, because that was our first time writing together.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, we literally sat down and we're like, okay, well, coffee. I distinctly remember this. Like, coffee. Okay, well, I don't know. How about something about the sunshine?
Yeah.
And then you're like, yeah, okay, like, go with that. And then that literally ended up being the first few words of the song.
Yeah.
Something about the sunshine.
Just throwing out words associated with coffee.
Yeah, and it worked. I mean, it was a great little,
I'm like, beans. Just write down beans. I don't know.
Yeah. What are some other words for kava? Joe. Java. Coffee. Like, we just, whatever.
Yeah, so we wrote this thing. I still want to try and find that video.
It's on my laptop.
Okay.
I have it on my laptop.
Okay.
If you want to watch
we got to put that up.
My girlfriend really wanted to see it, so I had to go digging through and
it's
show
great.
her that. See, I can do stuff.
And so we're here. We're actually not in LA right now. We're in Crestline, California, which is in San Bernardino County, up in the mountains. And we're here for a few days, writing and recording some original songs.
Yeah. Just kind of, again, seeing what sticks.
Process.
Yeah, throwing stuff against the wall, and I feel pretty good about what we've done in the last couple of days.
Yeah, we've gotten some good work done. I did lay down some fiddle, which I was really excited about.
Burning fiddle.
It's getting there.
Burning fiddle.
But yeah, it's. I think that's probably one of the aspects. Songwriting, original songwriting, is one of the aspects of my sort of what I want to work on in my rounded musical portfolio, and add some more originals. We both have a handful.
Yeah,
and we're just trying to put our minds together.
Right. Yeah. That's no. I think we. I don't feel shy about saying this. I mean, the joke was you said between the two of us we make one songwriter, and I think we kind of proved that that's probably about right. Some people can just lock themselves in a room, or they can write a song on the damn highway, or you're John Prine and you're on your mail route and you write it. Like, that's just not been me. So at the ripe age of 37, I'm starting to figure it out a little bit. And to success, I think in general is really personal. Like, what is success to you? Well, I mean, what my goal was for this time up here is we achieved the goal. So there's some success. It's not like I'm not going to win a Grammy and we're not going to go take over the IBMAs or anything, but I feel like it was a success. Yeah,
we got 5 new songs that didn't exist before today, really. So
yeah, I mean they're down now. They're on tape someplace. Hopefully they're on a hard drive. But I will say the other thing too is, like, you were talking about rounding out your musician sphere of like what it is that you do. A big part of what has happened with the Wood and Steel and the Kane Brothers band is, I've never been a singer before. I've always been really lucky to work with very good singers. Davey Allen is an amazing, amazing singer. If I get a chance to go see this guy live, I mean, he grew up in a Pentecostal church in Nowheresville, Indiana, and watched these guys do these crazy church services, and he is He's as commanding as anybody else I've ever seen. Chris Aiden, he's out in Nashville now. He was the singer from Illumination Road. He was amazing. This other guy, Remy Crumpack, I work with in L.A., amazing singer. So I've been really lucky, and so my role was always a side guy. Well, this thing came up, and you're like, well, what songs do you want to sing? And I go, well, that's a good question. But now I feel really confident. I mean, I feel like in the Canyon Brothers thing, I'm pulling over 50% of the leads on that, and I'm feeling...
I'm trying to get you that number up.
Yeah,
you know,
so, I mean, sometimes when you're not there, I'm doing 100% of them.
Well, exactly. Yeah, you've led a handful of gigs on your own.
But it's new. It's so brand new to me. I mean, you had all those years with the Get Downs, and that was pretty much right. I mean, that was mostly you doing all the yeah. So
yeah, Matt sang a few. I would love to get Matt on this podcast.
It was so nice to see him at your wedding, but it was just such a short.
Yeah, I barely got to talk to him.
I know, and we played what, 2 songs?
Yeah, we
songs.
played a couple songs with old Matt Brewer.
Yeah, it was a hoot though. Would have been so fun to pick.
Speaking of playing some songs, you want to get the mandolin out, get the guitar out, and pick a few?
Sure. Yeah, let's do that.
3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Girl, you taught me how to hurry back, cry myself to sleep. Showed me how this town can shatter dreams. Another lesson about a naive fool came to bag along. Found out that the pipe don't taste so sweet. And now it's guitars, Cadillacs, hillbilly music, lonely, lonely streets that I call home. Yeah, my guitars, Cadillacs, hillbilly music is the only thing that keeps me hanging on. Ain't no glamour in this tinsel land, lost and wasted lives. Painful scars are all that's left of me. I wanna thank you, girl, for teaching me brand new ways to be cool. If I don't find my mind now, I'll just leave. And it's guitars, Cadillacs, hillbilly music, lonely, lonely streets that I call home. Yeah, my guitars, Cadillacs, hillbilly music, the only thing that keeps me hanging on. All right, Andy. And it's guitars, Cadillacs, hillbilly music, lonely, lonely streets that I call home. Yeah, my guitars, Cadillacs, hillbilly music, the only thing that keeps me hanging on. The only thing that keeps me hanging on. The only thing that keeps me hanging on. Yeah, all right.
Thanks a lot, Greg.
Yeah, buddy.